Welcome back to Central News. Louise Gilbert met her soul in a coffee shop after having to come to terms with the fact that she could not have children, and life just wasn't going how she thought it would. Louise was born in the UK and moved to Tauranga in 2006. Katrina caught up with her last week in a local coffee shop to find out more about her book, I Met My Soul in a Coffee Shop.
As the title suggests, I do actually meet my soul in a coffee shop. At the beginning of the book I say, my soul longs to sing. This book is the music sheet upon which to place the notes. And I think the book its purpose is twofold. I wrote it at a time that I was really searching for answers in my life. I was coming to terms with the fact that I probably wouldn't be able to have children with my husband. So we'd been married at that point for about 12 years, and I think I'd been through a grieving process. Had lots of questions about why life is the way it is. What's the purpose of my life? Why do things happen the way they are? And if I'm not meant to be a mother then to a child of my own, because I have raised my stepdaughter, what does that mean in terms of my wider purpose? You know, what's the reason for me being here? How do I become the best person I can be? And what does that mean? What does best mean? So I started journaling, from quite a young age, and I suppose I've always had questions like that. And it wasn't until I reached adulthood that those questions became more intense and I really needed to know the answer, but quite often we can't. And I think that's really what the book's about. It's a journey of self-discovery and ultimately an unexpected meeting I had with my own soul, which was quite unanticipated. My soul was not what I expected it to be. It wasn't this loved up, fluffed up spiritual version that we might think our souls are. You know, my soul challenged me and disagreed with me in lots of ways. So the purpose of the book was really for me to come to terms with who I am as an individual, how do I realise my purpose, and what does being the best mean. But I think it comes from a deeper place because my soul was also this inner drive, this inner energy, this voice that just would not go away. Had a purpose too, and it had a message that it wanted to share with me and with other people. And that's ultimately what comes out in the book.
And I guess a lot of those questions that you ask yourself that you need answers to is questions that we need to ask ourselves in our lives.
Yes, and that's quite interesting because many readers have actually come to me and said, did you write this for me? And when I'm actually reading your book, I feel like you and I are connected. I feel like we're great friends. And I think that's why the story and the experience and how it's centred around the coffee shop is just so poignant, because in a coffee shop, just like you and I are talking now, we get together, we share our joy, our disappointments, you know, we talk about life and the way it is, and quite often we don't have answers, but it's through that process of sharing that something magical starts to happen. And I think because I have connected with those sorts of questions, many readers have connected with the same within themselves too.
How has your book helped others?
I think there's so many facets to the book because we cover areas of our life through to time for ourselves, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, service to others, but it also covers how we can realise our true potential. So at a much greater level, that's ultimately what it does. In the experience that readers have had and fed back, it's the key thing they're saying is, reading your book has made me realise that the answers are already within me. I don't need to go searching anymore. I don't need to try to be looking over there, looking over to someone who has the answers. They're all in here, and I was born with these innate qualities and the questions. I know what questions now to ask, and so I feel like I've come home to myself. And to have readers sort of come back and say that that's the difference has been, a most wonderful experience, and not something that I planned when I actually wrote it. I was quite selfish at the time of writing it because I had all of these questions.
Now tell us about another project of yours where you've launched the world's biggest lenders library and readers circle. What is that?
Well, probably calling it the world's biggest lenders library is probably showing the extent of my vision, and so I suppose you can only go as wide as the world. But what the lenders library is, it was born out of readers coming to me and said, hey, I've been to the library, I can't get hold of your book, because I've had readers say across New Zealand, Australia, Canada and America, and so only having been published last year, they're just not in libraries. And I really wanted people to be able to borrow the book. So I had this idea where I have got 36 books and each has got an inscription on the inside, and it says this book is not meant to be bought or sold, it's meant to be borrowed. And they've gone out to readers across those 4 countries, and they read it. They can log on to my website and share their reading experience against the book, which has a unique reference. And after a period of 3 weeks, they then pass it on to someone of their choosing. So whilst I had an element of control as to where those books first went out, now we've actually passed that 3-week period. They've now gone out again, and it'll be interesting to see where in the world the little book pops up. So it likes to travel. Yeah.
And just lastly, so you've got your book out there, it's around the world. What's next for I Met My Soul in the Coffee Shop?
Okay, so what's next? Lots of spending time talking to people like you about the book and sharing my experiences, supporting other writers in the whole creative process of writing. I'm really excited that the New Zealand Society of Authors has selected my book amongst 40 books from other fabulous writers to be represented at the Frankfurt Book Fair in October. And so that's a really wonderful opportunity. So lots of sharing and speaking and just general promoting the book. And the thing that I love most about it is just connecting with new people, and you just don't know where that will take you. So who knows?
To find out more, you can head to imetmysoul.com. After the break, we talk to a community weight loss coach.